I'm going to talk about accessibility from a user's perspective. And what I mean by accessibility is not data accessibility, but is physical accessibility as a person on a wheelchair. So as a person in a wheelchair, I've always learned to work with the limited resources that I have, aka the abilities, the physical abilities that I have. I gained skills in problem solving, which is something I have widely used in co-building Combify. And for those who don't know, I've been dependent on a wheelchair for 18 years now when I was in a car accident when I was 14. But that's a story for another day. I never felt that there is something I cannot do. I'm a very active person. I'm on the go and on the run every single day. Before Combify, I started so many other projects, but Combify is the biggest and the most proudest thing I've built. And I always felt that all I needed was my passion, my brain, my time, and my wheelchair. So I never felt like my wheelchair has ever been a hinder to me to doing anything until I got to the physical environment that is already built. The only time that I'm being reminded that my abilities are in fact limited is when I cannot physically access a space. And in this talk, I'm not going to talk about the facts and figures that 20% of the population have some sort of disability and all of that. Today, I'm going to focus at my own experience as a user sitting on a wheelchair. And we're going to, I'll just move here, and we're going to take this ramp as an example. This ramp, cool fact, I'm the first one who sits in a wheelchair to ever get on the stage. So back to that ramp, or I always call them two sticks, sorry space, nothing personal, but this is something that I widely see everywhere, especially on old built areas, but also sometimes newly built areas, outdoor parks, and these two kind of ramps are not, or are built on the assumption that the person in a wheelchair will always have assistance, which is something far from correct. I live by myself, I do not have assistance, and even if I wanted to, the government considers me as healthy, and I do not have the right for someone to be with me 24/7. So a lot of the ramps that are here in Stockholm, and actually in all of Sweden, they're not really accessible, and they are built to make it easier for the person helping the person sitting. Just like, for example, this ramp. It is not, for me, this ramp is as good as stairs, such as these two ramps with these two sticks. I'm sorry, I'm just going to take water. I have a medication that makes me... I'm not nervous. So, yeah. So these kind of ramps are as good as stairs, and I see them everywhere. And then you have here to the left, you have this one step, and then everything inside that building is accessible, including elevators. But that step, our office Combify is located in Fridhemsplan, and in Kungsholmen, the next time you're there, just pay attention. Every other store, restaurant, or a boutique, there is that one step. And for me, it's almost possible to get inside that space without asking for help. Now, I personally have never been denied help. There are kind people, strangers everywhere. As soon as they see me puzzled, like when I reach a space with that kind of stuff, they're always in a hurry to ask, do you need help? And most of the times I accept, and most of the times I don't. And there are 3 reasons for that. The first reason is that there is a high risk of me falling down. I have something called an active wheelchair, which means that this wheelchair is built for my weight and length and everything, and it's built in a way to make it easier for me to live my life. So I do not have the things here in the back that will protect me from falling down. And the reason that I don't have them is that me, by myself, I never fall down. I have a good balance. But as soon as someone else touches my wheelchair from the back, and it's not as it looks, now I sit straight. I never sit like this because I can tilt backwards. So I always sit like this. And with someone, a stranger on the street, does not know about anything about my wheelchair or my ability, there is a high risk of me falling down. And I've been there, and once I got stitches in my head, went to the emergency, nearly broke my neck, but that's a story for another day. So that's reason number one, is it's not always good to receive help from strangers. And reason number two is that it's a basic human right, the freedom of movement. I should be able to get in and get out of a space when I like, not when someone takes me in or out. I already have a wheelchair that is as good as legs, so I don't see a hindrance in any of that, but I would like not to be constrained in a space and just waiting for the next person to pass by to help me in or out of the space. And the third one, and the most honest one, is that sometimes I have a bad day and I don't feel like talking to people. Like sometimes, like I'm like angry, or I just want to go. I don't want to be like, okay, now get your shit together, and now, smile to the next stranger, hello, and that stranger has, like music. I'm like, what? I mean, you get the whole thing. So sometimes I'm in a bad mood and I don't feel like asking for help. So to me, the real hinder is the hinder in the built environment. Now, apart from it being inconvenient and all of that, there is something I've thought about. I mean, I've been through horrible things in my life, but thankfully, I've never been through something like this. So this sign is on every single elevator anywhere you go in the world. In case of fire, do not use the elevator, use stairs. And I've always wondered, what do I do in that case? Do I go where the stairs is? Let's say that there is a fire in the building and everyone is in a panic or something's happening. Do I go there and risk people falling down and me also falling down with everyone panicking down? Or do I ask panicking people to carry me down the stairs? And as you know, stairs come in all shapes and forms. You have the spiral stairs, you have so many different types of stairs. Or like, what do I do? So my suggestion here is that underneath or beside it, wherever you like, if you're a fastighets, like a building owner, underneath, if you're a wheelchair user and on this floor, this is your meeting point. I go to the meeting point, there's a button, I click it, then the fire department knows that I'm there. Or if there has been fire, I've not been able to breathe and I suffocated, then they at least know that that's the meeting. And every floor, there should be, where do wheelchair people go? And I have around 6 minutes left, so I will end this with one story that happened a few years back. So a few years back, I was meeting this person at this office. So I went, and there was the receptionist, very kind. I was like, hi, so my name is that, and I'm meeting that person. She was like, yeah, sure, here's the waiting room. I was a bit early. So she told me, here's the waiting room, wait for that person, and then she will come and meet you shortly. And so I did, and a few minutes later, the same receptionist came to me, and she was like, hi, can I ask you for help? I'm like, who, me? She was like, yeah, can you come? I was like, okay. So I went with her, and then she pointed at the reception desk, which was, like hotel desks. It was this high, and she was like, we want to make this accessible. What do you think, because you're a wheelchair user, what do you think would be the height that would be good for people like you to be able to use this reception and to truly make it accessible? And I'm like, Hallelujah, someone asked. Because today it is mostly done with textbooks. You as business people, do you ever build a product or a service on the assumption written in a textbook that your users, that's what they need? No. You have to talk to real users because every year there are new equipments, wheelchair, and all of that. You need to talk to users. What's new out there? How can we make this truly accessible? Because believe me, having a ramp and a restroom that is branded as accessible, but it's so big that it could be, like a small bedroom. But then when I go in, nothing in it, nothing in the restroom works. The armrests are this high or this low. The toilet seat is this high or this low, and then I go there, and then the toilet paper is there, and then it's not enough that we need to really understand the word accessible because, and I feel I have this responsibility because I'm almost the only one that I've met in the wheelchair industry. That would be cool. And the real estate industry that is sitting on a wheelchair. So I'm not doing only this for me. I'm doing this for everyone else in the society because, and I volunteer in front of all of you. If you're a real estate developer or an owner or an architect that is looking into accessibility, I volunteer to dedicate a few minutes every month to come to your office and look, or a building or whatever, because this is really crucial. And a lot of people that I know, they go like, oh, Alexandra, you're always positive and everything, but sometimes being positive is the only, it's your survival mode. I cannot be angry every single time I cannot enter a space. I cannot get angry every single time I feel terrified for my life when I get up a ramp or whatever. It starts to become daily. So build based on users' feedback, prioritize accessibility, and build for a better tomorrow. Thank you.